Welcome back, Geordies. It's Adam from Two for Joy with your instant match reaction to Burnley versus Newcastle. A 3-1 win, a struggle, an unconvincing win, but 3 points on the board. And honestly, I feel like I've aged 5 years just from that second half alone. But starting the game, Anthony Gordon with a breaking run down the right wing, hooks the ball in to Joel Linton, who catches it straight off his shin, loops over Martin Dubravka and into the bottom corner. Now 2 minutes in, 1-0 up, and I feel absolute elation. I'm like, this is the reaction, exactly the reaction we need at the moment. And then 7 minutes in, Harvey Barnes, low-driven shot, Martin Dubravka can't hold the ball. There's a shout for a push from Bruno, and the ball bobbles up and Johan Wissa taps it in for 2-0 at 7 minutes. And honestly, I'm thinking this is Newcastle of old. We're going to go on and this is going to be 3, 4 and 5, finish them and start to come back and really show something. And then all too familiar territory, we hit that 20 minute mark and we just seem to, whether it's reserve energy or drop off, and we just lose control of this game. And all too familiar, this ball bobbling around in the penalty area. Defence is a little bit all over the place. There's nerves are jangling. And Laurent hits a fantastic low-driven shot past Nick Pope, who I can't say was at fault. And it's back to 2-1. And at this point, it's a really nervy game. And not to pile on for Burnley, but this is a relegation struggling team. And I don't want to say they're poor, because they're probably better than the Man United we faced 4 days ago that we couldn't get a result at. But realistically, we should be burying them. And so when it comes half time, and I'm fully expecting Eddie to give him a kick up the arse, and we come out second half in the same way that we started the first. And we don't. We just don't. And there's a lot to be said. I mean, let me know in the comments what you think. And from my last video, guys, try not to get involved with slating other Newcastle fans on whether they believe Eddie Howe should be in or out. Because honestly, I think everybody's entitled to their opinion. And while people are saying we should back the team, we all back the team. We all support Newcastle. But that doesn't mean you support Eddie Howe. So there's reasons and arguments to be said for in and out. And I can completely understand both sides of the argument and both sides of the coin. But we seem to lose possession. Burnley seem to dominate us for around 30 minutes. And we just can't keep the ball. This is a real key issue. And I'll go through some of the players that I really think didn't turn up today. But us not being able to hold possession allows Burnley to pile pressure on us. And then fortunately for us, after a few changes, Martin Dubravka makes the mistake of not clearing the ball. He gets the touch. Honestly, I thought he was really unfortunate, and I thought Dubravka played well tonight. And the Burnley defender really should just hoof it into Rose Ed before Dubravka even comes out. But fortunately for us, Dubravka makes a poor touch. It falls to Bruno. He shapes with a left foot and curls it into the net. And it's a fantastic 3 points for us at this point. But incredibly unconvincing. The scoreline flatters to deceive, and it definitely feels like we're papering over the cracks. It leaves us in a position where we're 10th for the start of the new year. It's a good result. We should be happy that we've won away. We should take it as we see it, but just be pleased that we didn't throw it away like so many other games this season. And it leaves us 4 points from 6th position. So we're not in a bad position going into this January with 3 games that should be winnable games over the next 3 matches, with a transfer window that we should have players lined up to come in. If we haven't been out and put things in place, it's a worry. But overall, I just want to touch on to start with. I'll go with the players that played well, or I felt, really put in a good performance. And Lewis Hall and Lewis Miley, once again, Lewis Hall was fantastic tonight. I can't fault this lad. And when he gets the tackle and he goes down injured, it's a real worry. It is a real worry that we're consistently getting players in that back line who are taking knocks far too readily. And Hall was fantastic going forward. He was fantastic defending. He looked progressive. His passing was good. Lewis Miley, I thought, put in a solid performance. Maybe not a 9 out of 10, but he was definitely in a 7 to an 8 out of 10. And fair play to him. And while it's not ideal, and I don't really like seeing Lewis Miley play at right back, I am glad that he's getting the minutes, because honestly, this can only serve him well in the long run. Getting extra minutes in this team, whether it's at right back or centre midfield, I'd much rather see him sat as a DM. But getting more minutes in this team will only make him a better player in the long run. I thought Bruno, as always, the passion, the desire was definitely there. But he was absolutely blowing out his arse by half time. And he looks really tired. And the problem is, we can't afford not to have him in the team. And we kind of have to play through the fact that he'll be shattered 45 minutes into a game and he'll see it out with, every last ounce of what he's got. But we need players to be able to rotate this squad. And then the other big shout, Joel Linton. I was so pleased to see Joey get a goal. Apparently it's 1 year to the day since he scored for us last time. But if there's a guy that will run through a brick wall for you, and he may not have the greatest touch, and he may not be the best passer, and he may not have the technical ability that we need to unlock teams, but if you need someone who will put it on the line for you every game and show the passion and desire, Joel Linton is the man. He is the guy. He made some great headers. He made some great tackles. I loved the shithousery. I thought he was really unlucky to get booked, but knowing Joey, he can get booked for doing anything. He could look at somebody the wrong way and get a yellow card. And overall, the way this game ends is concerning. It is really concerning. There are points in this game where I saw players arguing with each other on the pitch. And this isn't something I've seen frequently before. And it does make me wonder whether there are bigger issues behind the scenes with regards to the dressing room and whether players are losing confidence in the tactics or the style that we're playing, and whether people are losing patience with Eddie Howe as the manager. But two players I want to highlight in this game, and I'll start with Anthony Gordon, because I thought the first 5 minutes he looked lively. After that, I thought he was dreadful. I thought I think it was 9 or 10 ground duels and he didn't win a single one. Now, I know tackling's not his game, but he has to be stronger. And a lot of these, he tries to win a foul by going down soft. He lost the ball in our final third twice tonight, and it left us in a really awkward position. Any team with better quality would finish us off, and that's a really concerning thing. And if I'm honest, I'd quite like to see him moved on. I don't think he's the player we thought he would be. I don't think his heart is still in it, and I don't think he's got the ceiling we thought he would have. He seems to perform well in Champions League or the big games, and the same, he seems to perform well for England when he's on a stage. But if you can't go away to Burnley and put in a performance against a really low side that are on a downward trajectory on form, major concerns. And the other one was Casper the Friendly Ghost in the middle tonight. Sandro Tonali, honestly, out of position, mistimed passes, not reading the play. His spatial awareness was poor. Again, Sandro Tonali gave away the ball in our final third twice tonight, put us under pressure. I thought he was absolutely terrible, and I don't know quite what is causing this, whether it's speculation of Juventus coming in for him in January or in the summer, and whether some of the comments in the media he's made recently have been a bit, nobody really knows what's going on with him, but he's, mentality-wise, there is definitely a problem with this setup and this team and the way things are going. And then to touch on it, our wingers as a whole. So, I've got it written down here. Where are we? Harvey Barnes, one-on-one with Dubravka. Now, I feel Barnes is unlucky with this, but it was probably the only good chance he had all night. And I feel like him playing on the right-hand side, actually, we don't get the best out of him. So, I'm not going to be too critical on Harvey Barnes, but I would have liked that finish past Martin Dubravka. And I think he put himself in... His body positioning wasn't good enough to be able to put the ball round Dubravka or go round Dubravka. He left himself with one option and one option only. But he is much better playing off the left. And then Anthony Gordon again, blazing the ball over with an open shot at goal from 10 yards. Absolutely fucking awful. Genuinely awful. And then Jacob Murphy, again, 5 yards out, blazing the ball over the bar. And it's an open goal. You have to take these chances. Any better opposition will finish us if we do not take these chances. But overall, taking the positives as we have to, 3 points on the board, up into the top 10, 3 winnable fixtures in our next 3, and the transfer window opening very soon. And whether you're Eddie Howe in or Eddie Howe out, whether you think Eddie Howe should be spending the money or Ross Wilson should be spending the money, we have to take the positives from this if we want something from this season. And honestly, I find it really difficult at the moment with the performances to take any positives from the performance. The only positive I can take is that the January transfer window is opening up, and hopefully in the next few games we should see some of the injured players come back. And I will say we definitely seem to lack some leadership out there. And I'm not saying Bruno doesn't show it with the way he plays, because he definitely shows it with the way he plays. You know, you can see the passion and the hunger, and I mean, when he scores the goal and he G's to the fans, it's fantastic. But if you were to have Kieran Trippier or Dan Burn on that pitch, you definitely have someone vocally putting players in their place, giving them a kick up the arse, and trying to focus the team when we're in a poor position or when we're conceding possession. And it didn't feel like we had that tonight at all. But let me know in the comments, guys. Let me know what you thought of the performance. Let me know what you think about the January transfer window. I will try and do some videos on speculated transfers. The more we hear, there's some obvious ones like Keith Smith, but I think that's already dead in the water. There's links to James Trafford, but again, I don't think he's the solution. Genuinely, I think the goalkeeping situation will probably last till the summer before we make a decision on what we're going to do. And I'd much rather see a goalie with more experience and, I want to say, Champions League or Europa League experience, like a Gregor Kobel from Dortmund, come in, rather than see James Trafford. I just think it's a lot of pressure to put on a young lad, and I think James Trafford will be a great keeper in years to come. But we will pay Man City top dollar for him, and he will be coming in having played very few minutes at a very young age in a very difficult situation for Newcastle United. So let me know in the comments if there's anyone in particular you think Newcastle should be looking at. I've heard shouts from all of the other YouTube channels as to people like Morgan Gibbs White or a few others pretty much. But let me know in the comments. If you've liked the video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Make sure you sub. Thanks to everybody for getting involved. You guys have been absolutely great in the comments. Just try not to have too much of a pop at each other. And hopefully, guys, I will see you in the next one.